Howdy there, I'm Joshua Lisec, the Ghostwriter and author of So Good They Call You a Fake. It's been a minute since you've seen something from me, but I wanted to take the special opportunity to have a conversation, a good old sit down with Scott Aaron, who is the author of the LinkedIn book for sales and marketing. He's a podcaster and a LinkedIn expert. And this is a conversation that's important to have. And the reason it's important to have is that there are many myths I've encountered, even the past few months, that people have about LinkedIn as just a place where boring people do boring networking, and that's not for me. But Scott will disprove those myths. He will debunk useless beliefs about LinkedIn, and he will do it both with his book and with this interview. Scott, how are you doing today?
Joshua, doing great. Thanks for the opportunity and really grateful to be here.
Sure thing. So, like I said, the issue here is LinkedIn as a platform. Now, the authors that I have worked with, authors that I know, will often mention LinkedIn as just a place to repurpose the stuff that they're sending out via email, or as their blog posts, or as the longer form version of whatever they've shared on Twitter, now called the X platform. But it seems like you believe LinkedIn is a bit more than that. What are people missing when it comes to what LinkedIn is in 2024 now? Is it just a boring place where boring people do boring networking, or are we missing something here?
Well, the interesting thing is for a long period of time, yes, it was a very bland, dry platform where it was either recruiters trying to recruit people for job positions or someone that was out of work looking to gain a job. So it was kind of like the social media of monster.com, but it's definitely changed, shifted the entire perspective of the platform, made it more of a community-based platform, a networking platform, and more recently, a content branding platform. So a lot of the people that are on there, and I would say 85% of the people that are on the platform are decision makers, meaning they are ones that are, deciding who they're going to hire, who they're going to work with. But it's a lot of content creators as well. So if you're building your personal and business brand, it has been said by many marketing experts and branding experts that LinkedIn is the number one platform to do it. If you look at the likes of Facebook and Instagram and X and YouTube and TikTok, they're entertainment platforms. Yes, it's business education in some formats, but LinkedIn is all business all the time. And for me, people need to understand that you need a lead gen process. And LinkedIn is the number one social media platform to generate consistent leads and visibility for your business. And it's something that people are missing. Yes, you can use it as a repurposing platform, but I believe in focusing on one central social media platform and then being omnipresent on the rest. So if the person that's watching this or listening to this, if your core demographic of people are business professionals, you got to go where they're spending most of their time. And if the person that is wanting to read your book and you're looking to get in front of, if they're in the business caliber space, you got to be on LinkedIn. And Nancy, my wife, and I, we've leveraged this for our solo books where we've, positioned ourselves, leveraging our book. I have book sales coming right from my LinkedIn profile because you can put hyperlinks all throughout your LinkedIn profile to drive traffic back to wherever your book is being sold and bought. And more recently, we're coming out with our first co-authored book called The Feel Good Business Model that comes out at the end of March. And I also use LinkedIn and I suggest people to use it for market research. So we're actually between two book covers right now. And we put a post out there, which one do you like better? Number one or number two? And we're getting a lot of market research feedback. So we want to produce a book, not only the content, but the cover that is what our demographic wants, what our core offer is going to be. But the people that are going to read that book, I want them telling us, this is the book cover that I would want to see on the bookshelf if I was going to buy it. You there, Josh?
Gotcha. So there's a few
Yeah.
things that you mentioned about LinkedIn. So you mentioned that it's for branding, mentioned that it's for visibility, you mentioned that it's for lead gen and
Mhm.
also lead closing. Could you explain to us what your perspective on branding and visibility are? As in, what are they? What are they actually? Because people have branding is like, okay, this thing that companies do. Visibility is just like being seen. by the algorithm, maybe? How do you define branding and visibility on
Well,
LinkedIn specifically?
your brand is how people perceive you and your offer and your business. So I think this is the incongruency is that when people focus on branding, they're looking at it from their perspective, but it's not your perspective that matters. When you're looking to build a brand, we talk about something called the passenger side perspective. It's the person that's sitting right next to you in the car, the person that you're marketing to and with. That is where your brand will be defined. So you have to think about, with the content that I'm putting out there, with the book that I'm writing, how am I positioning myself? So if you were your best client, if you were the best connection that you can have, your own self, how would you look at your brand? So when people read the title of my book, when they look at my LinkedIn profile, when they see all my social media content, they're automatically branding me as a LinkedIn expert. I haven't coined myself that. People have told me that based on the books that I've written and the content that I provide. Now, where visibility works into that, once you understand that your brand is solely dependent upon how other people view you as a brand. So when you think of Crest, you immediately think, oh, that's a toothpaste. Or if you think of Scope, oh, that's a mouthwash, because those companies have branded it so people would recognize that brand and automatically correlate it to what the business or what the product is. Now, how does that lead to visibility? Well, people want to see what it is that is value added to them. So, using myself as the example, because I have marketed myself and branded myself as a LinkedIn educator and as a LinkedIn content creator, people have branded me as a LinkedIn expert, LinkedIn guru, whatever they want to call me. Now, where the visibility piece comes into play, where do you think people are going to be able to first connect with me and find me first? On LinkedIn. Because if that's the main driver of my platform, that I'm looking to put my content out there, the brand that is defined by the audience that you're building will also lead to visibility. So where the problem that people stumble upon is they say, well, Scott, I'm not getting the right kind of visibility. My immediate question to that person is, well, what kind of network have you built on the platform that you're using? So if you're using LinkedIn as a platform to build your network and build your visibility, and say that you're branding yourself as a ghostwriter or someone that helps people write books, and you know that your core demographic are personal brands, coaches, and consultants. My question would be to that person, have you been connecting with personal brands, coaches, and consultants? Because if you are, and then you start marketing and branding with those people, providing content that speaks to their pain points, the holes, or the gaps, they're going to naturally engage with you. But if you are that person, you're that ghostwriter and you're that person that helps write books, but your audience is full of accountants and tax attorneys and doctors, no wonder why they're not engaging with you. So you have to make sure that A, when you are looking to brand yourself and market yourself, you're not doing that. You're not calling the shots. The audience is the one that's going to recognize your brand. But also with the visibility piece, you have to make sure you have the right type of connections and the people in your network that are going to be visible to what you're promoting.
So the tip out of that would be something like, if you're a this for that, a ghostwriter for coaches and consultants, or let's say a tax accountant for coaches and consultants, or whatever your situation is, in order to build up that network and engage, you would then go follow them, or you would then like reply to their content, reshare their stuff with some commentary, actually like make a social media platform out of it rather than just like this is a place where I go to post links and spam people.
Yeah, exactly. So, for me, I'm big on market research. So
Hmm.
I like doing polls on LinkedIn, which kind of correlate to the pain points that people have. So just as an example, I'm in an SEO based LinkedIn group, and I asked a question earlier today to the group, and I said, "Do you feel that ChatGPT AI is helping or hurting SEO. And the options of voting was helping, hurting, or other, comment below. Within, I would say, about 15 minutes, there were over 100 votes collected from LinkedIn with the specific post. And now I'm getting some much needed data of where these people's mindsets are. And I would say there was a little bit of a disparity where the majority of the people that initially voted felt that it was helping and not hurting. And what I can do now with that data is I can further create content that speaks to those specific pain points, or to your point, I can actually connect with those individuals that voted in that poll. So if I was looking to help people leverage AI for the SEO of their business, so the people that voted, oh, it's hurting, right? That's my core demographic that I would start marketing to. I would send them a connection request, and I would say, Joshua, thanks so much for voting in my poll. Would love to connect further. That way, now I'm sending that connection request. They accept, and just like every other social media platform, LinkedIn will put in front of those new connections some of your most recent content. And if you've done your homework and you're doing your due diligence, a lot of the content that you're going to be producing is going to be based around AI and SEO. So that new connection that revealed their pain point that now is in your general network is going to start to see you as the expert in that space, which could further the connection and could lead to a lead or potentially a sale.
Gotcha. So it sounds like the average person who is listening, who wants to do marketing and selling on LinkedIn, yes, you engage, you choose the accounts, just like any social media platform. But it was Facebook, 10 years ago. It's still Twitter X, now to this day, and it's other platforms where you go to the accounts of the people that you want as clients and just start replying to their stuff, sharing their stuff with your own insights.
Yep.
To get on their radar and to show up. And then maybe those people wander back to your profile and they see, oh, you do your thing for people like me. Okay. They may or may not need that at the moment that they see you, but now you've done a little bit of personal branding. You're visible, you're memorable as someone who helps people like them do something that they may or may not need. And that's where long-term branding can be useful, because now they know how to place you. And if you still engage with their stuff, they don't have to hire you on the spot, but there could be referrals, right?
You hit on a really, really important point and aspect, and you use the word helpful. This is one of the big keys to really positioning yourself properly on LinkedIn. I talk about this all the time. You have to be a value-added person. So you sell without selling. Selling is not difficult. People make it difficult, right? What leads to sales is building the know, like, and trust. So people don't work with or buy things from people that they don't know, like, and trust. And one of the best ways to shorten that gap between someone that doesn't know you to now who does know you and wants to work with you is being a value-added content creator on LinkedIn. That's why it's so powerful. Like you just said it, you want your content to be helpful to the reader. I did a training on this a few weeks ago. You have to give in order to get. If there's two different mindsets around this. There's something called the fixed mindset, and then there's the growth mindset. The fixed mindset states that I can't give away all the keys to the castle. I have to keep all of the knowledge and information and helpful things to myself. Well, how do you expect to build a know, like, and trust if you're not willing to share anything? The growth mindset says, you know what? I'm going to give them the whole kitchen drawer. I'm going to give them everything that I have. I'm going to give them solutions to the pain points that they have to build that know, like, and trust. And that is how you best leverage LinkedIn. You will generate sales just by showing up as a very genuine, authentic, and value-added person.
So how does one get started doing that?
So I would say first and foremost, just like any other social media platform, making sure the go-to place that you have on LinkedIn is your profile, because that's like the homepage to a website. When someone wants to learn about who you are, what you do, how you serve people, maybe some services and offerings that you have, it's going to be on your LinkedIn profile. So just like a website, LinkedIn is a giant search engine. So you have to have the key SEO words stated all over your LinkedIn profile. Again, going back to something that I stated earlier about the passenger side perspective. It's making sure that you have the right keywords fluttered throughout your LinkedIn profile, whether it be your headline, your about section, your experience section, where if someone goes into the search engine on LinkedIn and types in LinkedIn expert or lead generation LinkedIn, my profile will populate. If I don't mention those keywords anywhere in my profile, I can't expect to get visibility. So it always starts with optimizing your LinkedIn profile. The second thing is making sure, going back to something that I said earlier, building the right kind of network. So there's two types of connections that you need to have on LinkedIn: ideal potential clients and business allies. Every connection request you send should fit into one of those two categories. It should be someone that could benefit from your product, your service, and your offer, or someone you can collaborate with, someone that you could have a joint venture with, someone that you can refer business back and forth to and with. So if you're about to hit that connect button on LinkedIn and they don't fit into that ideal connection bucket or that business ally bucket, don't send it. If they do, connect away. The third aspect is, now that someone has accepted your connection request, messaging. And if anyone watching this or listening to this, if you've spent any time on LinkedIn, you probably at some point got one of those 18 paragraph long drunkalog verbal vomit message from someone trying to sell you and pitch you and book a call here and click this link. That's not leaving a good first impression. That is pushing someone further away instead of bringing them closer to you. So we follow the rule of something called the smell test. If the message that you're about to send stinks, don't send it. Don't ever send a message that you yourself wouldn't respond to. So there's a 3 keys to a proper message. First is stating the person's name in a relaxed fashion. Hey Joshua, great to be connected to you. So you're stating the obvious. The second portion of that message is stating the intention of why you're reaching out. I noticed that you had a podcast, as do I. Would love to do a podcast interview swap if open to it to support our networks. So I'm stating the intention of why I'm reaching out. Third and final is a CTA, a call to action. Questions lead to answers, statements lead to nowhere. You have to ASK to GET. You have to ask in order to get. So I would simply finish with, do you have any time this week or next week to hop on a Zoom to talk about collaborating? So the answer from Joshua is either going to be a yes or a no. And you just follow that little 3-step template to properly message people on LinkedIn, which brings me to the fourth and final key to LinkedIn, and I spoke about it earlier, is your content. If you committed to posting 3 times a week on LinkedIn, either Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you make sure that every single piece of your content is value added, chock full of tips and things that people can do to move their business forward, but is also filling the gap of their pain with you providing the solution, you're going to have success on LinkedIn. So whether that's a general post, whether that's a market research poll, a newsletter, an article, a video, just make sure everything that you produce content-wise on LinkedIn is A, solving a problem, and B, leaving people better. If you do those 4 things, optimize your profile, build the right network, message without being spammy or salesy, and provide value-added content, LinkedIn will be a home run for you.
That's great. What are some examples of value-added content? And the context of the question is, when I go onto LinkedIn and I scroll my news feed, I find myself quickly leaving the news feed because the vast majority of the content is platitudinous. Right. It's repurposed probably from Facebook. Like, it looks like it's Facebook worthy, where they will say things like, the key to success is all mindset. Mindset is the key to success. And it has like 1,000 likes, inexplicably so. But it's a famous person who wrote that, let's say. And then other lesser famous people will then go and also post their platitudes. And so it's just platitude posting everywhere, both in my connections and second degree and third degree. I don't know those people. I don't like them, and I certainly don't trust them based on platitudes.
Right.
What are some examples of authentic, value-added, non-platitudinous content?
So the easiest way to separate yourself from other people is video content, because you're speaking directly to your audience. So for me, video is king. Because anyone, to your point, anyone can repurpose something. Anyone could, just do a quote post from, Brainy, and download the image and post it. But when you're producing a video, whether it's short form or long form, so whether someone wants to do like a LinkedIn Live, like I do twice a week, or even some short form clips that are like 2 and 4 minutes, the best type of content to give people are tangible tips and takeaways. So an example, using you as an example, if you were to do a video, 3 reasons why a ghostwriter can help you expand your business and your brand, right? And that could be in a written post where you're giving like 3 bullet pointed tips, or it could be a short video like, hey everyone, Joshua here. Just wanted to give you guys 3 helpful tips of why a ghostwriter could really help you build your business and your brand, leveraging a book. And here's why. Number 1, this. Number 2, this. Number 3, this. Leave in the comments below which of the 3 tips helped you the most and which moved the needle most for you and your business. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next time. So it's talking to people's pain points, and to your point, making yourself stand out. Why do you want to blend in with the crowd? There's no fun in that. So it's blazing your own trail, being a salmon in a world of fish, going against the grain instead of with the grain. So if someone was to ask me, just as you did, if there's one piece of content that I can create on LinkedIn above all else that I can go all in on, it's video content that is giving helpful, educational, and information-based tips of what people can do to better their business.
How long ought people who've not posted video content before, this value-added content, how long ought they give it before determining whether or not it works for them? Because it seems like if video content did work for everyone, everyone would do it. But it just might be a situation of, well, I did LinkedIn, which is their way of saying I posted 2 videos and I got fewer than 100 views on them, and so LinkedIn doesn't work. You might hear this from time to time.
I do.
People complaining about this or that platform.
Yep.
How long would you give it before giving up or
minimum,
or going full?
Yeah, I would say 12 to 18 months. I would say a good year to a year and a half of being consistent. You're going to see traction. To your point, there's people that try LinkedIn all the time. Oh yeah, I posted for a little while, and they posted 3 times in 3 months and nothing happened. Well, again, if you talk about the compound effect or the consistency factor, neither of those is happening. You're not being consistent, and you're not allowing the compound effect to take place. So something that I always come back to, Joshua, is something that T. Harv Eker speaks about in his book, The Millionaire Mind. And
I have that one on my shelf somewhere.
yeah, it's right next to me. I just can't see it right away. But he talks about that every master was once a disaster. And so everyone is expecting like, oh, I'm going to post this video on LinkedIn and I'm going to go viral like Ariana Grande. It's not going to happen. That's not the way that marketing works. It's consistency. Now, full transparency, sometimes I'll do a LinkedIn Live and no one shows up. I'm literally talking to 2 people. It doesn't deter me, because this happened last week. I did a training on how to grow your following on LinkedIn. There were 2 people on there live with me.
Yeah.
But I talk like there's 2,000 people on there, right? So I log off, and then all of a sudden, all these people started watching the replay. 30, 40, 50 people. And the opposite happened this morning. I did a training today, and there were 15 people on with me live, and now still a lot of people. So again, you can't get sucked into the vanity metrics of things. You have to give things time. To your point, if you're running a business, how long are you going to give your business? If you're, well, I'm going to open up this, brick and mortar business, I'm going to try it for 6 weeks and see what happens. Well, you're already setting yourself up for failure because you're giving yourself a time limit. So, but in respect to driving content and driving engagement organically on LinkedIn, you got to give yourself at least 12 to 18 months of being consistent, not just throwing spaghetti at the wall. You need to create a content routine. When are you doing your videos? When are you doing your poll market research questions? When are you pushing out your newsletter? So if you create a process, you're going to create a result. And it's as simple as that.
And it sounds like there's no reason that someone could not repurpose their content that they're posting videos on YouTube, post those on LinkedIn. If you're posting
100%.
long form or short form on Twitter, X, repost those on LinkedIn. But it seems like the one non-repurposable activity is actually engaging with people. That is
Yes.
replying to posts and articles, but the long posts and the short posts of people who are in your market or who are potential business partners or that you want to deal with in some way, and then sharing their stuff with like an insight, kind of like a quote share, and see if you can get some engagement that way. Can you fill me in a little bit on how you begin a conversion process? So you're posting this content, you're showing up, you're committing 12 to 18 months of either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday posting, and it's going to be polls, it's going to be shorter long form videos or live, and
Right.
it's going to be engaging with people. So how does one go from doing the marketing, as authentic and value added as it may be,
Yep.
to doing the closing? What's the transition there?
So the transition starts sometimes from the initial point of the acceptance of the connection. So as I stated earlier, you're connecting with the right people. You can send that outbound message. You can ask for a call, and obviously you can talk to the person on a Zoom or a phone call. They can share a little bit about what they do, what products, services, or offerings that they have, what you're offering, and if there's no overlap and there's a hole and a gap in their business that can be filled by something that you offer, the natural question is going to populate. Well, how do you work with people? So that's, I would say, the low-hanging fruit version. I would say as you climb up higher and higher in that sales tree, what's really going to drive that whole lead gen to sales conversion process is the content. Because to your point, and this is, I deploy this all the time, when you make the right kind of, using market research polls and as an example, when you make your poll question on LinkedIn, you're talking directly to a pain point. So the example that I gave earlier, I asked those people, do you feel that ChatGPT is hurting or helping SEO? Now, what I can do is I can specifically reach out to those people, because the fact is LinkedIn gives you so many marketing resources to get people in front of you, where you can reach out to the people that voted in your poll, send them a private message. People that subscribe to your newsletter, you can send them messages. Thank you for subscribing to my newsletter. I hope you find it value added. And that's where one of the most important aspects of building a business comes into play, and it's relationship marketing. People need multiple touch points. Back in the day, it was maybe 2 or 3 touch points until you closed the sale. Now it's between 7 and 14 touch points before someone makes a decision. So the more that you're staying in front of people by engaging with them engaging with you, it's going to shorten that gap between the person that's having some issues, having some problems, having some holes and gaps, and how it can be filled by what you're doing. That's how your content really drives things. And for me, I use and leverage the live video concept of LinkedIn to get people into some workshops that we do. So what people fail to recognize is not only is LinkedIn a lead generation source, it's, again, a sales activator. So to give you another example, I did a LinkedIn Live on how to create engaging content on LinkedIn. And I did that this morning. And my call to action was to a workshop that we're doing next week. It's a free workshop, and it's called the Content Creation Workshop. It's a 3-day free workshop. So just with that LinkedIn Live that I did, I had about 8 or 9 people that commented free, because I gave them that cue if they wanted the link to the workshop. So now my LinkedIn Live, where I'm still providing educational content with the tips that I gave them a way to learn more from me. If you want to learn some deeper, more content from me, type the word free. I'll send you the link to come to our workshop for completely free next week from Monday through Wednesday. So now my content is generating leads, which is funneling them into a workshop where now they're going to spend 3 days with myself and my wife, which will then convert them into a sale if they want to buy what we're offering.
I would gather that another way that you, besides this workshop, free live video to free workshop to sale or conversion opportunity, I would gather another way that you gain clients and customers from LinkedIn is through your book.
Yeah.
So you promote your book on LinkedIn.
I
On
do.
LinkedIn,
I do.
people get it. They learn your methods for step-by-step LinkedIn sales and marketing. And it's through that you can create new relationships. I imagine. So you figured it out. People can buy multiple things from you. And then they buy multiple things from you after that. That's great.
No, that actually just happened. So there was a gentleman that just joined. My wife and I have a high level mastermind called Expert Authority, and we had 9 people join. We like 10 people at a time join, so we had 9 out of 10. One of them came from my book. He read my book, the LinkedIn book for sales and marketing. There's a call to action at the end of the book that if you want to, connect with me, here's a website to go to schedule a call. He scheduled a call and he said, how can I learn how to work with you guys further? And I told him exactly how. And then it turned into a 5-figure sale. And
this is somebody who found you from LinkedIn. It was like a LinkedIn initial connection. Was it he that reached out to you initially, or was it you?
He reached out. He started following me on LinkedIn. Went to my LinkedIn, my profile. Went to my publication section, where it had everything that I've published. He bought my book. That redirected him to Amazon. Read the book, followed my call to action in the book, scheduled a call, and then joined our program.
Fantastic.
It's a beautiful thing.
So yes, it's all synergistic. But I would gather that probably the most important thing of all the things is to give this time. Give it that 12 to 18 months. Think of this as a system versus a goal. Okay, this is a system of either twice a week or 3 times a week posting of videos and or content, maybe a poll in there, and engaging with people. What about time amount? Let's say I'm going to do LinkedIn, my LinkedIn system for marketing sales via LinkedIn.
Yep.
It's going to be Tuesday, Thursdays, or it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. How much time ought they budget per LinkedIn session in order to fit it into their busy day?
20 to 30 minutes. And within that 20 to 30 minutes, that will give you the right amount of time to specifically target and connect with your connections for that day. So sending your connections to either ideal clients or business allies. That will also give you time to send out a few messages to some people that accepted your connections from the day before. That will also give you time to create and craft a piece of content, to your point, whether it be a short form video, a LinkedIn poll, long form post. But it'll also give you some time to then interact with your network, right? Use the automated messages, the push notifications. Congrats on the work anniversary. Happy birthday. Thanks for liking my post. Thanks for subscribing to my newsletter. Thanks for voting in my poll. And even taking it a step further, going through your LinkedIn newsfeed and engaging with people that you want to actually engage with. So, it may take a little bit of time to I know you mentioned before that you just felt like your LinkedIn newsfeed was just a bunch of garbage. And for a lot of people, it is. So there's 2 things that people can do. Number one, LinkedIn actually will refilter your newsfeed based on hashtags that you follow. So you could search for specific hashtags like copywriters or book writers or authors. And when you follow those hashtags, LinkedIn will actually show those feeds first before the general population of LinkedIn. The second thing is choosing people to engage with. So when you start connecting with the right people on LinkedIn, they will repopulate your newsfeed with some of your newer connections so you can see their content and engage with it. So if you engage with the right people, you follow the right hashtags, it'll make your newsfeed more value added and obviously more connectable.
Fantastic. One and a half more questions for you, Scott. The first of the one and a half questions is, what would you tell someone who's thinking about possibly doing a book on LinkedIn, not on LinkedIn, but doing a book so that they can market it on LinkedIn? Should they commit to the LinkedIn strategy first? Should they do the book first? Is a book something when does it make sense to think about doing a book for your overall content marketing, turning followers into readers into clients?
Yeah.
What have you noticed?
So what I have seen, and we actually recently helped one of our mastermind members with this. He built his LinkedIn network first, then wrote his book second, launched it to his LinkedIn network, and it became a bestseller. So if you want to drive more people to your zone of genius through a book that you've written, you have to have a network of people to drive it through. So what I always tell people, don't put the cart in front of the horse. So take the necessary time to build the right network so that when you do let them know that you're in the process of writing a book or you're releasing your book and it's geared towards that demographic of people that you've been building your network around, you're going to automatically generate more sales. That's exactly what we've done recently with all of our books. So what we always suggest people to do is build a network first, write the book second, launch it to them, and they'll buy it.
Excellent. Yes, that's probably the right way to do it. You have an audience of people, because if you write a tree and it falls in the forest, but there's no one there to read the tree. Wait, mixing metaphors, but we get the point there.
Yep.
Okay, now Scott, the half a question. Obviously, you could be found on LinkedIn for people who want to connect with you. Scott Aaron, where else should people go who are curious about learning more about the specific techniques and the tactics and post construction and what are the good ideas for polls, all that sort of stuff that you teach? Where should people go?
Yeah, I mean, my website's probably the easiest thing, which is scottaaron.net. It's where people can get my book. Has a little bit about some programs and some memberships that I have, and a little bit more about me. But any of the social media platforms, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You just Google me, I'll populate somewhere. But obviously, connecting with me on LinkedIn, but also checking out my website will help as well.
Fantastic, Scott. All right, can I get a bonus question snuck in here?
Yeah, please fire away.
Okay, so most people who listen to podcast interviews or video interviews, they're doing something else while they're doing it, and therefore retention is unfortunately going to be low for most people. In fact, as I'm saying this, there might be people who realized, oh, I remember what they said. Oh, shoot, what did they say for the last 35 plus minutes? So is there a TLDR, a too long didn't remember, from the conversation? Like the single most important takeaway, if you forget everything else about LinkedIn marketing and sales we discussed, if you remember this one thing, it'll unlock success for you. What would that one thing be?
Make sure you're positioning yourself as a value-added contributor to the platform. That's it. Be a value-added person. The more of a value-added person you are, the more people will pour back into you.
Excellent. But what's a value-added person? Go back and watch the interview, my friend. Go back and watch the full interview. Scott, thank you so much for joining us today. And all of you, go to scottaaron.net and follow Scott on LinkedIn. Thanks, Scott.
Joshua.
Appreciate it.